Jame, how's it going?
Hi, how are y'all?
Doing awesome. Doing awesome. What a great way to spend a Friday. I'm
Right?
excited about this conversation.
I know. Thank goodness it's Friday.
So on the Modern People Leader, we have a lot of traditions. The first of which is what we call good news stories. And we all share a personal or work-related story from the past couple weeks. You want to kick us off? Do you have a good news story?
My good news story is probably personal.
Okay.
I've gotten just a lot of new brand deals rolling in, and
Let's
my
go.
two of my three meme pages hit half a milli.
Woo!
So that is kind of my good news the last couple of weeks. I've been really growing my social media presence, which is wild to me.
Yeah, I mean, I can see why your metrics are totally blowing up because seems like every day I'm getting Instagram things are in my feed, and I see how much traction you're getting. So well
It
done.
I feel like a sign that your meme account is blowing up is whenever people start stealing your memes
Yes.
and
Oh,
using them for their
yes, for
accounts.
sure.
And I feel like now I'm seeing some of your memes being copied from other accounts,
Yes,
and I'm like, oh
yes,
wow, let's go, Jamie.
It's
I
it's a
see it too.
compliment.
I
It's a
see it too.
compliment.
I don't
Frustrating
mind
a
it.
little.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little
It's like
annoying.
part of the game, right? Like
Yeah, for
there's a lot of
sure.
repurposing.
Yes, for sure.
Well, Daniel, do you want to go next?
Um, I guess to just like piggyback off of what Jamie just shared, it feels like we have really good momentum as a business here at the Modern People Leader. Like
Mhm.
for the first two-ish years of the podcast, it was just a podcast and a hobby. And just as of, since January, we formalized the business and we're trying to sell sponsorships. And in the past couple of months, or I guess in the last 4 or 5 months, we've sold 4 sponsorships so far.
Yep.
Is it 3
That's
or
awesome.
4.
3 or 4, and then we're about to close another deal. So
Awesome.
it feels like we're a real business now.
Yeah.
Um,
We
which for
are
a
real
while it
business.
was like, felt like we were kind of just making things up as we went, which turns out that's just what it feels like whenever you have your own business.
Yes.
But no, it feels good making progress.
That's awesome. Congrats.
Ooh,
Thank you.
man, it's hard to beat the good news. Both of your good news is my good news is I am formally announcing that I'm entering the next chapter of my career. So I've been pretty quiet about it. We sold Workify mid-April, and I was like, I'm just going to give myself a couple months to just not really think about it, not think about social or anything. And I've started updating my LinkedIn page, and I'm getting all sorts of. I haven't even sent an update yet, like a formal update. It's just been from my profile page, and I'm getting all sorts of like DMs. Our original, we had a guy named Kenny. Our original salesperson, he's like, oh
Ken
my
Dog.
God, Ken Dog. Shout out to Ken Dog. And so it's just been really fun, and to kind of take a walk back, go down history lane. So that's my good news. And I'm also excited about what the future is in store. I have no idea where I go from here, but I'm really excited. So, well, this conversation is a little different to the normal guests that we have on our show, and both Daniel and I are huge fans. We love memes. We're obsessed with HR memes. We're obsessed with your account.
Well, for a while, I thought there weren't any good HR memes because I hadn't found your pages.
Yes.
So when I stumbled upon your pages, and I think it was like an HR Brew article or something,
Yeah.
I immediately reached out.
And so, share with us your story. It's going to be a little different to the normal stories that
Yeah.
our guests are walking us through, but we're even more excited about that. So, how did this journey start, and what has it been like, and like where are you at? Like, where do you see this going?
Yeah. So I am a real corporate HR girly. I've been in HR for the past 19 years. I know I don't look it. No, I'm just kidding. But back in 2020, I was working in healthcare, and I was working at a nonprofit in a clinic. And you know what happened in 2020? And I was just feeling like really insanely lonely. I was an HR department of one. Everything was changing, CDC guidelines. I was trying to make sure our staff was protected and keeping them safe because they were on the front lines. They were the doctors and nurses, and they were doing all the COVID swabs. And so I just needed an outlet, and Humorous Resources was something I had always kind of had in the back of my head. And I was always making memes for like my personal page, but I'm on private. So I had two separate friends just reach out and say, you should actually like start a meme page. And I'm like, what does that even mean? Like, that's not a real thing. And here we are, 500,000 later.
Love it. Love it. And so I know you're trying to keep your anonymity. So without giving away too much, can you tell us about your 9 to 5 as an HR professional? Because
Yeah.
we weren't sure. Like, there's a lot of mystery.
Yes.
Who's behind
So
these accounts?
I do it out of respect, honestly, for my company. They are aware, leadership is aware, many employees are aware. So it's not like it's per se a secret within the company. I just do it more to protect them because I don't want to ever put them in jeopardy of anything. So that's why I don't discuss like where I work. But I am still in healthcare. I've been in HR healthcare since the last 9 years, and it is a startup company. So I was one of the first 100 employees, and I've only been there a little over a year, and we've just tripled in size since I've been there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I feel like we might have just glazed over the name of the different meme accounts. So tell our audience about the meme accounts that you run, and I guess give us like an idea of like which one came first.
Yeah.
How are you like building on to these? Like, how are you deciding like which meme account to create next? Like, tell us that whole story.
Because I think
Well,
more and more people would be content creators like us. But it just seems so daunting, and it
for
is kind of
sure.
scary in the beginning. And then suddenly you seem like, oh wow, like this is an amazing account. Like, why haven't I seen this? And the reality is, it feels like an overnight sensation, but it's like usually years in the making.
Yeah. So I first created Humorous Resources, and mostly it was really just for HR professionals in my head, of a way that we could kind of escape the pandemic and everything that was changing so quickly, and the guidelines and the laws. And it was my way to escape and just kind of put some giggles into our day. I genuinely did not expect anything that came from it. Truthfully, I didn't realize there were so many other people like me out there. And I know there's other HR professionals, but that found this kind of shit funny. A SpongeBob meme relating it to COVID vaccines would be funny. But apparently a lot of people have similar relatable experiences. And so it really blew up, honestly. And I got like my first 50K, and I was like, I don't know what to do. Now I actually have to run this thing and act like I know what I'm doing. And about a year later, I started Millennial Misery, because there's a lot of things. I'm an elder millennial, and there's so many things that I would love to post on Humorous Resources that just doesn't make sense, like nostalgia content. And that's why I created Millennial Misery. And that, honestly, that's blown up even more than Humorous Resources, which is wild to me. But I think millennials particularly are obsessed with nostalgia because it was like our safe place as a kid. And there's just so many people. Like, there might not be that many people in HR or corporate, but there's that really large group of millennial fan base. And then last August, I created Horrendous HR because we have so many stories. HR professionals have so many wild stories over their years. And I just thought it would be a fun way to read the stories anonymously and kind of put my own little spin on it. I've also kind of gotten into destroying job descriptions. I call them red flag job descriptions that just call out the idiocracy of some of the things that jobs and job postings are currently listing. So that's actually been a lot of fun for me. And like I said, I still can't believe that anyone likes anything or finds anything that I post relatable, but here we are.
These next few questions that I'm about to ask you are me selfishly just wanting to know this information. Like, walk us through a day in the life of someone that's running multiple meme accounts. Like, how often are you posting? Like, what types of tools are you using? And is everything that you experience in world just like a meme to you now? Because I sort of experience the world in video clips now because I'm creating so many video clips for the
Constantly.
podcast. So I can only imagine what it's like creating memes.
Yes, everything is content. Literally, I can't take a simple picture or scroll through my phone or do anything work related that I probably am going to use it in some form or a fashion. I try to post on each account 4 times a day, sometimes more if I'm able to. On Horrendous, it's usually once or twice a day just because it's very specific. And sometimes I just don't have the opportunity to film in a day. Like I do have a real job, so I do have a job in there. And sometimes I just I have back-to-back meetings and I'm just not able to film something, or that night my child has basketball practice or whatever. So I try to do early in the morning a lot of making the memes. And then I have several apps that I use to post throughout the day. I found that there are specific times you're supposed to post for the algorithm, but honestly, I think that's all junk. No, really, because like if people like it, they're going to share it and it's going to get a lot of traction. It has, regardless of what time you post it. If it's relatable enough, people are going to enjoy it and it's going to blow up. So I post usually like first thing in the morning. You'll see usually a post at 5:30, and then I typically try to do another post around 10, and those are my scheduled posts, and then one in the afternoon, and then typically one at night. But that's really because I'm genuinely working throughout the day, and so I kind of schedule those. And then pretty much late at night, I will look for content and create memes too. So I'm always on throughout the day, but I'm not as engaged during the day just because I do I shouldn't say unfortunately, because I do have a job.
Yeah. I'd agree on the point about the algorithm and posting at, like for LinkedIn, they say to post
Yeah.
between 7:30 and 9 in the morning, and that you can't post more than once every 18 hours. And there's all of these rules, and I try
Yeah.
to follow them. And then I'm like, I just can't stick to the schedule. And I've
No.
noticed it doesn't really, for me at least, it doesn't matter. Like the posts that go viral, it's not because I posted it at 7:30 in the morning. It's because I posted something that a lot of people felt was
Yep.
relevant or they related to. And so I totally agree on that. On your creative process, so it sounds like you draw some inspiration from just consuming a bunch of memes or content on
For sure.
Instagram or TikTok,
Mhm.
wherever you're hanging out. How do you get, I guess, like a pulse of what people in the HR space are feeling? Is that sort of from like this flywheel that you've built? So you have like Horrendous HR, where you're hearing all the crazy HR stories. I'm sure there's a lot of meme ideas that come out of that. Like, how does that work?
For sure. I mean, I think because I literally genuinely live it every day too, that helps. I am a huge fan of HR Brew and other of HR creators too. So, and now that I have so many, I call them my Bale besties on Humorous Resources, because I'm a huge fan of turtles. It's a long story, but anyway, a group of turtles. If you ever watch my stories, there's a bunch of turtles at the pond at my work and I feed them. And people love it. And so they send me turtle videos all the time. And a group of turtles is called a Bale. So anyway, Bale besties. So my Bale besties will send me things too, like different various things. For instance, like when Bill Clinton was speaking at SHRM, I'm no longer a member at SHRM, but I saw the email because I still get the emails. And when they were sending it to me and they're just as like enraged as I was when I saw it, I knew that I had gold.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is honestly just me being an outspoken bitch. And I just really want to honestly, and some of it has nothing to do with my Bale besties or anything. It's just something that really is frustrating about being in HR, and I want to talk about it.
Yeah, and I feel like that's part of your success, is the fact that you're not following any rules or format, like you're just being you. It
For
comes
sure.
across as being real and then relatable, and then I'm like so much more likely to engage with the content
Yeah,
if it feels like the person who's submitting this is like just someone that I would generally relate to or get along with.
exactly. Like I'm in the trenches too.
And I guess, like, speaking of being in the trenches and hearing all of these horrendous HR stories, like, do you have a pulse of like what people are maybe frustrated with, challenges that they're facing, like on their HR teams, stuff that they're venting to you about?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll get a lot of people just send me stories. Like I got a Lululemon story just the other day, and I'm like, I'm not even sure if I need to cover this or not, because I'm thinking of all these cease and desist that I'm gonna get at some point.
Is
But
that
yeah, I mean,
real? Is that real? Has anyone sent you
no,
any grants, any nasty
not
messages?
yet,
I've
not
wondered
yet.
if Sherm would have reached out,
I know, seriously,
but
because
then you put them on blast
I
again.
I put them on blast so often, and they still haven't. So
Wow.
go figure. But yeah, no, I mean, I think I have a good pulse. Obviously, TikTok has been insanely great for me. I have a pretty small following because honestly, it is just me on there, which it's different on Humorous Resources on Instagram. It's a lot of different creators. So I have a smaller following, but it's you, for instance, I posted yesterday the top 8 things that Gen Z and millennials hate about boomers in the workplace. And then I said, tell me in the comments what you find annoying. And then there's like hundreds of comments. And I just posted that yesterday. And it's hilarious of all the comments, because I'm like, yes, this is exactly what I'm talking about. We're all frustrated with the same thing, right? Printing of emails, the reply all feature.
Love it. Yeah, I love all of it. And so you mentioned, there's, I think Daniel mentioned that there's an inbox of sorts for people to submit these horrendous HR stories and work confessions.
Mhm.
What are some of the, I'm sure you get some really out there stories. What are some of the crazy ones?
Yes, I definitely have. I've gotten a lot of poop stories.
Ah,
Yeah,
who?
yeah, yes, a lot of poop stories, and then of course the sex stories, right? So they caught someone had a brothel in the back of a warehouse, or
What?
or um, two coworkers, both married, not together, with them, did it at a Christmas party, and then there was a mess on the couch they did it on, so they had to steal the couch cushion. And I mean, just wild stuff. Also stuff that is not surprising, especially after you've been in HR for so long. Like there's so many things that are legitimately, sadly, not surprising that people will do, but hilarious at the same time.
And so this is a bit of a curveball question. So you create an account, you start posting during the pandemic, you get like unexpected success, and you start creating, side accounts, and there's a multiplier effect or a networks effect when you start having viral posts. I'm curious, like, did you truly just like stumble on all of it, or did you tap into, like, do you have advisors that are like, hey, I've done my accounts? And when you think about the future, like, how big do you think this could actually get? Like, do you have more, is there a brand here that, you can monetize? I guess more from a marketing standpoint, you mind letting us get a view behind the curtains as to like what you see the value becoming of these accounts?
Yeah, I mean, I think truly one day it would be really cool if I could not have my real job and do this full time, but that was never my end goal, and honestly never what I anticipated or thought this would become. Of course, it looks like that more the larger that I grow, but then I'm like, where's my content going to come from? I have such good content every day from working. So like, then what? And I do actually genuinely love what I do. I actually really do enjoy the company that I work for right now. And I feel like I'm in a really good place, and they're supportive of whatever I'm doing right now with this. Truthfully, I always say that if it doesn't make me laugh, I'm not going to post it. And that's honestly, I've always go with my gut, and it's worked for me. And I don't know if I just have a knack for it, or I'm not sure, to be completely honest.
There's not like a playbook that you're following, like follow these, 10 steps and you're going to be able to grow a meme account.
Definitely not. No,
Thank goodness.
just,
Thank goodness. Cause I feel like that there's a lot of scams and like there are a lot of
oh yeah,
marketers that want to sell you the solution, the snake oil. And so I just love that your story doesn't involve any of that.
no.
And before I forget, and before we move on to the next set of questions, so if I have like right now, I'm listening to this episode, I'm a listener, I've got a crazy, insane HR story that I want to share. Like, where do I go? How do I get that to you?
Yes, send it to horrendoushr@gmail.com.
All right. So you mentioned that you really love your current job, and I think in our prep call you mentioned that you were employee number 67. Is that right?
Yes.
And now y'all are. I think you mentioned y'all have grown 3 times since then, or y'all are closer to like 300 now, and that part of like the growing pains of a startup and scaling that fast are employee relations issues,
Mhm.
and this isn't something that people are typically comfortable talking about on the show. So when you mentioned this is something that you would be willing to chat with us about, I got pretty excited because I don't think we've ever discussed employee relations on the podcast, which is kind of ironic considering that like historically employee relations is like what you think of when you think of HR. Um
It's also
so
like a huge chunk of like any leadership, really.
it
Yeah.
really is. Yeah. So I can't remember what exactly you shared, but you had some frustrations with just how companies handle employee relations.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I think what I said was I feel like the PIP, the performance improvement plan, is weaponized a lot of times.
Ooh.
And
Definitely.
yeah, hot topic. And a lot of
What
times
does that what does that look like? If I maybe I don't even know it's being weaponized against me. Like what does that typically look like?
one thing I will, so for instance, this is at a previous startup that I worked at. I remember a manager coming to me and she was super frustrated about an employee and she had been late and she was ready to terminate her that day. And I said, well, hold up, tell me how many times has she been late? Have you written her up? Well, no. I'm like, okay. So I pull this girl's record. She's been late 41 times in the last 3 months.
Wow.
That's quite a lot, right? And she was only working 3 days a week too. Keep that in mind. So I'm like, oh, that is a lot. And I said, okay, well, have you written her up? Have you said anything to her? Well, no, I haven't said anything. But she's gonna get fired. She's late. This is ridiculous. And I said, you mean to tell me you have never said anything to her about being late? Well, no, she should know. She knows the schedule says 8. I'm like, but you've set a precedence thus far that it's okay for her to walk in 5, 10, 15 minutes late. So now she doesn't know any different. She's not gotten in trouble thus far. I'm like, no, we have to just formally say, hey, you've been late this many times. We really need you here at this time the doors need to be unlocked or whatever it is. But once again, it's like sometimes I think leaders are so caught up in everything else they have to do that sometimes the people part falls short. And they're humans too. And the human aspect gets left out. And I think that's true for HR too. And they use a PIP to weaponize someone because they think that if you're going to put someone on a PIP or a formal write up, that's just going to change your behavior. But the truth is, there's really only 2 things that are going to happen. Well, maybe 3. The one, if you put someone on a PIP, is they're going to correct their behavior. They're going to recognize that whatever they were doing wasn't up to par or they weren't hitting their metrics, and they're going to try harder and they're going to change their behavior. Number 2, they're going to get pissed and they're going to quit. And then number 3 is they're literally had no idea and they're completely oblivious and it's going to go right over their head. The 3s usually doesn't happen a whole lot, but I just feel like sometimes if we provided proper timely feedback, and I say we as in leaders, if we provided that proper timely feedback, sometimes we wouldn't have to get to the angry part of a formal written PIP.
I thought you were going to, so I thank you. And I think that is like a great example. I thought you were going to respond differently. And Daniel, do you mind sharing the story about?
Yeah. So I have a friend who was working for a technology company that is probably around like 1,500 employees. She was a director level marketer, and the CMO that hired her either left or was forced out. The new CMO that came in was then her new manager. And I think like a month and a half into this new CMO being there, she gets a performance review scheduled for her. And on this performance review with her new manager, the new CMO, he gives her a pip and says, "Hey, you have 30 days." And this was like December. It was the first week of December. And part of the pip said that like she needed to, I want to say, like increase blog traffic by like 3x, create 3 or 4 case studies.
In
So
30 days.
it was in 30 days. And
That's unattainable.
it was an unattainable goal that he set for her. And all of the feedback that he gave her while giving her the pip, it was the first time that she was hearing of it.
Mhm.
And it also like wasn't factual. It contradicted the past performance reviews that she had received from her previous manager, who had given her nothing but great feedback. And it was really just his way of pushing her out of the company. And he told her that if you don't accept this pip, then we'll give you 3 months severance. So it was his way of just forcing her out of the company.
Mhm.
But in a way, he still made her feel like she wasn't doing enough. Like it wasn't until she shared this experience with me and with my wife, who's her best friend, that she realized like, oh, they're totally weaponizing this pip against me. So when you said weaponizing pips, that's sort of what I thought of.
Yeah.
And then I've had other friends.
What a shit show, by the way.
Yeah. Well,
who does that?
Feedback should never be a surprise.
Yeah.
Like
exactly.
And in performance reviews, if you get shitty feedback on your performance review, that also shouldn't be a surprise. You shouldn't be first hearing it at your annual review that you're not hitting your goals or your metrics or whatever. That should have been a previous conversation.
Yeah. Yeah. And I have other friends that, so like one friend in particular that works in sales, and Steven, I think you might know who I'm talking about, but in one of their previous roles, they unexpectedly received a pip as well. And I just remember like it totally ticked them off and eventually like led them to leaving the company because it didn't feel like it was justified. It was more, and I guess in sales, like they're like hard metrics that you can.
Are you hitting your number? Are you not? And how many
Yes.
quarters have you not?
But
right?
also, did we set them up for success?
And I think that was like his point.
Yeah.
Like, the goals weren't attainable in the first place, and they weren't providing him the support to hit those numbers.
And that's the kind of question I always ask when someone comes in and be like, okay, I'm going to write up this person. I'm like, hold on, go back. Well, they didn't hit their whatever calls and they didn't hit their metric. Okay, great. Well, how were they supposed to? Explain it all to me. I don't care how long it takes. Well, if we don't set them up for success, they can't hit those metrics. So of course you're going to want to push them out, but the next person's going to do the exact same thing.
Yeah. And I feel like I've also been in situations where, the person 3 levels above me sets like some arbitrary goal that has never been hit in the past, and actually like far exceeds anything that's ever been hit in the past. That trickles down to me, and they're like, okay, here's the OKR that you're owning for this quarter. And in my head, I'm thinking, fuck, like there's no way that we're going to be able to achieve this. Like no matter what I do, I could put together the perfect marketing plan, the most like sophisticated, like projections, like on what we can put into this channel versus this channel and what we're gonna get out of it. No matter what I do, we're not gonna hit that number, like no matter how much money we throw at this. So I feel like that's probably the case for a lot of people.
A lot of what you're saying, really resonates with me. And we even talked about it. We earlier this week, we interviewed the global head of talent at Goldman Sachs, David Landman, and he was talking exactly about what we're talking about here. These difficult conversations, like if we zoom out and really think about employee relations, there are these difficult situations that we're confronted as managers, as leaders, that require tricky, challenging, scary communication between a manager or leader and an employee. And he was, even at Goldman Sachs, like he was describing how that is just still like a really hard thing for certain
For
managers
sure.
and leaders.
Yeah.
And, I think we all agree, at least if you're part of the modern people leader community, that is, that's a requirement of a modern people leader, having the empathy and the courage and the emotional intelligence to be able to do these things. And we were talking about how AI is, there's like a Wall Street Journal article about how AI is being used to help doctors communicate kind of really tough communications to patients. And
Hmm.
David was mentioning like what we need is AI from a talent perspective. We need like an AI solution to help managers and leaders like do the same thing. Like, is that possible? Like, because if it is, man, we probably would be able to avoid a lot of these issues that kind of just blow up, these really kind of like crazy stories probably could have been avoidable. And so what are your thoughts on like AI and like, the topic of employee relations?
It's funny that you should mention that because I actually have, I'm talking to a company right now that is using employee relations with AI.
Really?
And yeah, we're possibly working on some kind of deal. But yeah, it's the same thing. It's basically, we put people in these leadership roles with to zero training sometimes. And maybe the last company before didn't have any training. And then we just expect them to do all these things that they have no idea how to do, like be empathetic. Maybe they're just not. Some people just aren't naturally,
Yeah.
or navigate difficult conversations, right? I was lucky enough that early in my career, I worked for Marriott, and they have an intense management program, but like I feel like I've got so much knowledge of being a leader from my time at Marriott. I just feel like I learned so much, and even though I didn't necessarily love my time there, I have that is, I couldn't have gotten it anywhere else. But so many companies don't invest in like leadership training. We're
That's
starting the
crazy.
process on our side, and I'm so glad that our leaders recognize that it's necessary. But absolutely, I mean, it's simple things that shouldn't be simple. I mean, it should be simple, but they're not. And then that we're looking to AI is even more mind-blowing to me.
Yeah. And I think the way that David put it, he views his role as head of talent development as like his primary role being enabling empathetic conversations. I think that's how he put it.
Hmm.
And I feel like that's really the role of like the modern people leader. Like in everything that you do, you're trying to enable more human interactions. You're trying to provide people the frameworks or like the right language for
Hmm.
how to have these tough conversations. And then, he also shared the 3 conversations at Goldman Sachs. So I don't know, when did they put this together?
I it was after my time. That's all I know.
Yeah, so basically, like they provided this framework for all of their managers that says these are the 3 conversations at Goldman Sachs. And it's like very tailored to their culture, which we all know Goldman has a unique culture. It's for some people, it's not for some others.
Yeah.
But the 3 conversations I think he said are the like beginning of the year convo, the mid-year check-in, and then like a
The
look
look
back at
back.
the end of the year, and none of it being framed as like a review or something scary, but
Hmm.
as a way they're giving their managers a frame, like a framework for having these tough conversations or just having meaningful conversations to begin with,
Hmm.
and understanding what their employees are looking for, understanding their goals, understanding where they want to grow. And yeah,
But not all companies have those kinds of
yeah.
resources, right? And
Hmm.
so I'm just curious, for the smaller companies out there, the startups out there, we got a lot of startup people in our community. What are some of the things that they could be doing? Like, what are some of the building blocks for having like effective ER, employee relations, or like empathetic leadership? Like, what do you think? Any suggestions, I guess, to our audience?
So I think too, a lot of times, because this is not my first startup too, this is like my second. I think a lot of times too in startups is you hire for potential. So a lot of these people have not led before. So I think it's important for startups in particular to invest early in leadership development. And I don't know if you hire an outside resource. If you can, sometimes that works even better, or you have someone internally that you hire to handle it. I'm doing a portion of the courses for my current company, and then we have some other people working on some other courses as well. But it's so important. And the only way your business is going to be successful is if your people that are supporting your business are successful. And I think sometimes the big leaders forget that. And so you need to make sure that you're providing the leaders with how to make your team feel safe, psychological safety, just behavioral interviewing. How do you interview these people? There's just so many different things that we need to make sure that we're training these leaders on, so they're well prepared when they get in the thick of it in a sticky situation.
Yeah. And I would love to keep riffing, but I know we're running short on time. So yeah, let's do rapid fire questions. So every episode we ask the same set of questions. I guess that's partially true. We tweak it here and there. So one of the questions is a bit newer, but yeah, let's do it. So question 1, how do you define a modern people leader? What are the traits and characteristics?
I honestly think it was everything we just spoke about in our last conversation, right? So you want to make sure they have empathy, they actually have the skills to navigate difficult conversations, make sure that they're keeping their team psychologically safe. I think those are some of the 3 big ones right there.
It's a good list. All right, question 2. If you could go back in time and talk to a 22-year-old Jame, what career advice would you give yourself and why?
Do not get into HR. No, I'm like partially kidding. I do like what I do, and but probably get into social media sooner.
Great memes. Your 22-year-old self.
Yeah.
What the hell does that even mean?
Those were like not even a thing back in my day. Actually, that's not entirely true. They were like on E-Bombs World.
Ooh, that sounds sketchy.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Is there anything you believe to be true about the world of work, but don't yet have the data to support?
That we do not have to be back in the office. We're more productive at home.
Yeah. Yes.
Reach.
Yes, I agree on that.
Well, it's that time. We've got a couple more things before we officially close the conversation. We've had amazing guests on our show. Largely, not all, but a lot of them have come through just recommendations from our guests and from conversations like this, the question I'm about to ask. So who is someone, and it doesn't have to be in the traditional sense, but who is someone that is having conversations about HR topics, about anything people related that you feel just really needs to be heard that we must have on the show?
So she's my friend and we've become friends from content creation, but Ashley Hurd of Manager Method. Well, she's amazing. She's actually an attorney, but she is great about like framing it from the lens of HR. And she's just amazing. And she like has my same thought process of how HR should be. And so it's very refreshing when you find other creators that have that same view.
Would love to have another creator on the show. So we'll definitely reach out to Ashley. And now our last tradition, we call it one word, one phrase close. We all respond with a word or phrase. So it doesn't have to be a single word from the conversation we just had, something we just want to close the conversation with.
I'll go.
Okay,
You look like you were about to say something and I didn't.
I was going to jump in if you needed some time, but
I was just going to say empathy. It seems so simple, and I know that a lot of us can struggle, but it sometimes just employees just need a little bit of leeway, and we can all use some empathy in our hearts.
That's a good one. And that's been a theme over the last handful of conversations that we've had. Empathy, that's the word that keeps coming up. My word is going to be fun. I had this thought as you were just talking. It feels like I know you. Like I don't know why. Like I don't know if I have a friend that's very similar to you, or I don't know what it is, or that's just like your personality. Like you make people feel comfortable. But
good.
Yeah,
that
was a lot of fun. It feels like I know you from somewhere.
Well, good.
So I usually learn something from, in fact, I've learned something from every conversation.
I was like, but this one.
No.
Anything.
I
You sucked,
definitely
Jamie.
learned something on this call, and so my one word is Bale, because I did not
Oh.
know that's what you call a group of turtles.
Yeah.
And what is the group called?
Bale besties.
Bale bestie. It's like, what do I need to do? I kind of want to be a Bale bestie right now.
We need some sort of animal that's associated with the modern people leader.
We do.
I know with Workify it was a penguin.
It was a penguin. Turtle that's already taken. In fact, I'll have to send you a picture because I stopped in the middle of the road after working out and like on the service road because a turtle was crossing. And I had people behind me. There was like a massive truck like honking. This is Texas, right? So we drive crazy here. And I let the turtle go. And
Awesome.
so yeah.
Cute.
So
My
anyway,
Bale besties would be happy.
I'll see. Maybe that's my way into Bale besties.
Maybe we'll make a clip about the Bale besties. Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. That was a lot of
Yes,
fun.
So
of
much
course.
fun.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Alrighty.
Have a good weekend.
Okay.
Bye.